So here we are again, YouTube. We're live streaming. I have a couple of points of conversation today. Things I'd like to talk about. One being the obvious: I have a haircut. I purchased it earlier today. I put it on. I thought it looked nice. I walked out the door with it. It was a good time. I nearly died on the way there because, I fucking hate sunscreen is why. I have like almost no body fat, so I don't really sweat a lot. Like heat just sort of radiates. I don't have a lot of insulation. But sunscreen pretty much seals in the flavor. Clogs all my pores, basically makes me one big coat of oil, so that I can't really get rid of any heat at all. So I was rollerblading over to the barbershop to get my haircut, and it was the hottest day in the past 2 years today. What the fuck? It just started like pouring outside and getting really windy. Anyway, so today was the hottest day that Canada has seen in the past 2 years, or Ontario has seen in the past 2 years, or something. It was like 36 degrees with the humidex, which isn't really that bad. Like, I've had worse, but it was hot as dicks, and my fucking sunscreen wasn't helping any, so I was dying on my way there. I was rollerblading a little harder than I should have been. I mean, I was kind of trying to get there fast, but like by the time I got there, I was just a mess. I was a puddle of sweat. I sat down on the leather couch, which, why the fuck would you have a leather couch in the summer? But I sat down on the leather couch in like the waiting area of the barbershop, and the guy's like, "Oh, hold on a second, I'll be right with you." And I was like, "Sure, whatever." Like 20 minutes pass, and I've cooled off a little bit. And the guy's like, "Oh, I'll help you now." So I stand up, and I look back, and where I was sitting is just a perfect imprint of my back, ass, and calves on the leather couch. Like, just sweat all up and down the couch. And I immediately was like, fuck. Alright. So yeah, that's essentially what happened today. A couple friends bailed on me yesterday, which was fun. They have a habit of doing this where we'll make plans last minute. A friend of mine, let's call him Fred, he will make his way into these plans. Like, he won't, like, we're not excluding him from the plans, but we're not necessarily making the plans with him in mind. He's free to come with us. Like, we don't want him to not come with us. He's cool. He's a cool guy. The three of us, we call ourselves the three Randys. Me and Randy 1, we'll call him. We make a lot of plans, and then anytime Randy 2, this is the Fred I was talking about, Randy 2 gets involved. We'll just call him Randy 2. Anytime Randy 2 gets involved, I've noticed a pattern. The plan that we've made falls through completely at the last second, every time. The past like 4 or 5 times I've made plans, it hasn't worked out if Randy 2 is involved. I don't know, I mean, I know exactly why. It's because he is lazy in a way that he doesn't want to admit that he's lazy. Like, anytime we're going to do something that involves him getting up to come over somewhere, to go somewhere, he will find every single excuse not to do it. Any excuse. And there's no, like, convincing him either, because he will repeat the same excuse even if you've given him a solution to it. Like, he'll say, "Oh, I don't have the car." And I'll say, "I have bus fare, I can give you some bus fare." And he'll go, yeah, but I don't have the car. Okay, I understand that. I have some bus fare. I don't like taking the bus. Okay, Uber. Your first Uber is free. Okay, but I haven't downloaded the Uber app. How is that an obstacle that's stopping us from hanging out? That you don't have an app? That's the only reason that we're not hanging out? And the fact that they don't have the Uber app has stopped us from hanging out. Like, way too many times for it to be funny anymore. Like, the first time, like, I was like, that's fucking stupid. But I'd be like, that's so stupid, it's hilarious. Now it's like, it's happened 6 or 7 times, and I'm just pissed. I'm just annoyed. Like, what the hell? Why? So, the same thing happened yesterday. This guy, we'll call him Dove, not his real name. Dove and Randy 1 and I made plans to hang out. Randy 2, well, he wasn't in the original plan in my mind, but, like, I wasn't thinking he wouldn't be there. Like, he could be there. Either way, like, it was a 50-50 chance of him being there or him not being there. But anyway, so me, Dove, and Randy 1 had made these plans, like, a week in advance. Admittedly, this isn't Randy 2's fault. Dove and Randy 1 were informed by Randy 1's dad that they were going to go boating the morning of the day that we made plans. So I was like, okay, that's whatever. So I guess I'll see you guys after you go boating. And they were like, yeah, absolutely. So I was like, okay, cool. So I call Randy 1 around, I don't know, like 11 o'clock a.m. and no answer. It rings a bunch of times, no answer. Call him again at like, I think 2? No. I call him again at like 3:30ish. Twice. No answer either time. And it was ringing. It wasn't like ignored or anything. It just rang like 10 times and then went to voicemail. And then I called him again at 9 o'clock that night, and at this point I'm pissed because I'm like, well, the whole day's gone, and for some reason you guys haven't gotten back to me, so I guess we're not hanging out, because the plan was for them to sleep over. But I'm calling him at 9, because it is a sleepover, so they could just come over anyways, stay the night, and we'd hang out still. We'd have a lot of time because we have the entire night. So I call him at 9. He calls me back because he didn't pick up the first time, but he calls me back like 10 minutes later, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh, where were you guys? He was like, well, you never called me. And I go, what the fuck are you talking about? Yes, I did call you like 4 times. And he was like, no, I'm looking at my call logs. I have no calls from you. And I was like, well, I'm looking at my call logs, and I have 4 calls to you, none of which were answered. And they all rang, so I don't know what was going on there. And he could be lying. I believe him, but anyway, so then I'm like, all right, you guys, yeah, come over, it's whatever. Like, we'll have a good night. Like, we can hang out still. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. Hang on. And then I hear Randy 2 in the background, so I know that they're all 3 of them are hanging out. And I was like, oh, cool. And they're all drinking. So I was like, okay. And then I said, oh, you guys can come over. I have some coolers. We can all, drink a Mike's Hard or something. And Dove, who is from St. Catharines, so he can't be here. He's only here for like a week. So, and he really wanted to see me. He really wanted to hang out with me. And we discovered that none of the other days this week worked for either of us. So that's kind of fucked. So Dove is all like, yeah, man, let's go to Michael's house. This is gonna be fucking cool. I can't wait. And he's getting pumped. He's getting so excited. He's like, yeah, let's fucking go. Randy 2 takes a big smelly shit on these plans. Like, no fucking holding back here. He ate Chipotle beforehand. He knew what was gonna come out of his asshole, and he aimed it right at these plans. He starts throwing every excuse that he's got, oh, well, I don't have the car, oh, well, I'm a little bit drunk. Those are understandable. But then he starts pulling out the shitty excuses like, oh, well, it's too late to bus, it's 9:30. Oh, well, it's going to take us 2 hours to bus. It doesn't, it takes like an hour. And because nobody's on the roads, it's going to take you like maybe 50 minutes tops, depending on bus schedules. Maybe like an hour and 5 minutes. Then he starts saying like, okay, well, I've already used my free Uber ride. And I'm like, you have a job. It's like a $20 Uber ride, 25 at most. Fucking pay for an Uber ride for once in your life. Not once has he ever paid for an Uber ride to my house. Like, ever. And for, I don't know why, but it's just like such a fucking like phobia of his to actually spend money on anything. And I go, you know, oh, just pay for an Uber for once to my house. He goes, I just spent $200 on video games yesterday. And I'm like, you're telling me you're going to ruin Dove's week because he wants to hang out with me and he's not going to because we can't hang out any other time this week because you don't want to spend $20 one time? How is that like fair to him at all? Because he was getting amped. Like, I heard him in the background. He was like, fuck yeah, this is, like, I've never been to Michael's house before. This is going to be cool. And then Dove picks up the phone after Hershey's throwing out all these ideas, throwing these ideas out the window, I should say. And he's like, hey, man, look, I haven't downloaded Uber or anything, but so I'm pretty sure I could do it. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So they hang up. They call me back like 10 minutes later, and they go, oh, Dove doesn't have a credit card. And I'm like, and I know that this, like, I knew this wasn't going to work out because it was Randy too that was saying Dove doesn't have a credit card. So I'm like, this isn't going to go anywhere, because at every opportunity he gets, Randy 2 will throw a wrench into the system, just so that they can stay at Randy 1's house, because it's much easier for them to stay there. And it was just such a piss off. The second thing that happened today, technically that happened yesterday, but it also affected my plans today because it was going to be a sleepover. Second thing that happened today was, in light of those events, I went, okay, well that sucks, but I will text this girl that I've been talking to, see if she wants to hang out tomorrow. That's what I was thinking last night. To my delight, she goes, yeah, absolutely. And I go, fuck yeah, that's gonna be cool. So I'm like, yeah, alright, I'll Uber to your house or whatever. She's like, nah, my house is a mess, but there's a fucking bridge underpass that we can hang out at. And I'm like, yeah, alright. Because sketchiness is my thing. And so I'm getting ready all day. I'm like, that was the reason I got this haircut. I wanted to look nice. My hair looked like a fucking hamster was having, I don't know where I was going with that joke. My hair looked like shit is my point. And so I just wanted to go get it fixed. And I showered like 3 times because once in the morning, and then like again after I worked out, and then I went outside to get my hair cut, and I came back all sweaty, so I had to shower again, just so I could make sure I was like, you know, perfect for this date. And even though I was going to be hanging out under a bridge, and so I'm texting her like pretty much all day, and then at some point she just stops responding, which I understood because like she said she was going to be busy today anyway, so I was like, okay, that's fine. And then like 3 hours pass and I'm texting her again. I'm like, do you know when you're going to be available to hang out? No reply. I Snapchat her a couple times. She doesn't open any of the Snapchats. Like 2-3 hours later, it's getting pretty late at this point. It's like 7:30 and she lives far, so I was like, shit man, my plans are kind of going downhill. I don't know if this is going to end up happening. 8:30 rolls around and I text her. I'm like, hey, so are we hanging out today? she texts back like 10 minutes later saying, "No, sorry, my friend has made me super upset. I spent the last 2 hours leaving her angry voicemails, so I don't think we can hang out today." And I'm just like, and I'm not mad at her, I'm not like upset. I mean, I'm upset, but like I'm not upset at her. I know it's not her fault. But like, I just got shit on a lot today. It's not fun. And it's made me realize I place a lot of my value, my self-worth, on what others think of me. And I've known this about myself for a long time, but I feel it's just strange that I anchor my opinion of myself so much so on what others think of me, because I mean, I don't think it's strange. I know exactly why. Well, I don't know exactly why, but I have a pretty good idea why, and it's because of events that have happened over my lifetime that have reinforced this idea that, you know, other people's opinions of you will shape and affect your life. But like, I can't shake this paranoia that she doesn't like me, and it's shitty to me that I absolutely, like, I crave that approval. I don't want to crave that approval. I just want to be me, because that's seemingly what she's interested in the most, is just me being me. Because every time I start to get a little bit more opening up, and I'm coming out closer and getting more like involved in our conversations, she starts to get a little bit more distant, I notice, and maybe it's a coincidence, but like, she'll reply less, and I feel like that's an indication to me that I probably should live my own life before I try to live anyone else's, if that makes any sense. I should. And even me venting about this is me trying to gain some self-worth from you, the viewers on the internet, looking for validation of my opinions in the comments section, and or in even just knowing that I can say these things and have it be out there in the world. I feel like I'm validating myself just by cementing my ideas, by recording them and having them be public. Even that is like a crutch that I'm leaning on currently. And even this, me talking about the fact that I'm doing it, is also a way to solidify it. It's a cycle, because even me talking about it is a way to solidify it. Every sentence that I've just said in the past 60 seconds is a way to reinforce my own self-worth by looking to others for their opinion of me. And I don't know how to break that. I'm the kind of guy to talk to myself, not because I find it helps me think, but because I feel like if someone were to listen to me, they would go, "Oh yeah, that's smart," or "Oh yeah, that's funny," or "Oh, whatever." I'm looking for an opinion of what they think of what I'm thinking. Which is why when I meet someone who's as open as me, I fucking flourish. Because I finally found someone who will listen to the shit that I have to say. And I need to learn to stop doing that. I need to learn to chill. Not because I'm afraid of pushing others away, but because I think that it's important for my own happiness to be able to, at the end of the day, think, yeah, I'm good with me. I'm alright. You know? This person doesn't like me. I mean, I am able to do that. I'm able to think to myself, this person was wrong for this reason and that reason, if someone were to insult me. Or I can think objectively, you know, if they're right, I will reconsider what they've said. But I need to stop looking for approval. It's like it's a drug to me. I think it's why I need to be an actor. Like, that is my dream. To be able to be in front of millions of people and be judged by all, you know? With the hope that most of the judgments would be good. I mean, I don't want everyone to hate me, but But like, I think I'm a decent guy, you know? I'm gonna probably get up in front of those people and be genuine and sincere, and hopefully, you know, they will see that and go, huh, cool guy. And if millions of people are going, huh, cool guy, that to me is, my life can end and I'll be happy. It's weird. I'm pretty sure it's because I've been just rejected by friends over the years a lot of times, and it started probably, I mean, not to get into too specific details, but there was a little guy, a little boy, he used to live across the street from me. He was a year older, 2 years older maybe, a year older I think. And he was an asshole, an absolute prick. He was this kind of guy who would always go like, oh, if you don't pick up that mud and throw it at this kid over here, I'm going to stop being your friend. And I didn't really have any friends at the time. Like, he just lived across the street, and I wasn't allowed anywhere that wasn't in front of my house. So, like, if I didn't have him, I didn't have anybody. So that's essentially how that went. And basically, like, it was just a power struggle. Like, I felt like I was very powerless in these relationships. Like, I had no control over whether or not this person liked me. That was up to them, and it was up to me to do my best to get them to like me. Which is why I'm here now, where I am, seeking this attention, seeking this approval of everybody. Which is, I think, what's turned me into such a monster of social awareness. Such a beast when it comes to getting inside somebody's head and figuring out what it is that they like in a person, and then becoming that. I've described myself in the past as a yes man 2.0. I'm better than a yes man. I don't just go, oh yeah, you're right. I use my understanding of the human psyche to get inside whoever it is that I'm talking to. I get inside their head and figure out what it is that they want to say next, and then I say it for them. I figure out what it is that they're going to say, and then I say it before they can, so they go, yo, and they're like, they bond with me. Like, they're like, shit, man, and they feel like I completely understand them. And it's true, I do, but I don't entirely want to be their friend. I just want their approval. I mean, I've had so many people in the past who've considered me their best friend, but I'm just trying to get everybody to like me. And then there are those who I really value, I really look up to. People, there's only like 2 or 3 people I know that I've really looked up to in the past, and I've thought, wow, I really want to be close to them. I really want to be their friend. Currently, the one that I look up to the most is someone whose head I feel like I can get into, kind of, but at the same time, I psych myself out. I'm not as genuine as I should be when I'm talking to him, because I'm trying to be a character. I'm trying to be the S-Man 2.0, when in actuality, his intellect is just as big as mine, and I can't really emulate someone who is as smart as he is. So my problem is I'm so set in emulation that I can't stop myself from trying to emulate him and failing. Instead I should just say what I actually think, because I did that for like the first 2 weeks that I knew him, and we were like, yo, like we were like fucking good buddies. And then it got worse and worse as I was trying to more show him that I could be like him. But the thing is, he's a bit older than me, and it took him a while to get to where he is now. It took him a while to become him. Whereas I took a while to become me, and he is such an intricate personality that it's kind of beyond my capabilities to become him. in the short time that I've known him. So I'm not even sure that I ever could become him, which is a first for me. Usually I spend a couple months with somebody and I could, if I wanted to be, I could be them. Like, I could pick up their phone, text all their friends in the exact way that they would, and their friends wouldn't know the difference. With him, that's probably not the case. I doubt it. I don't think I could do that. But he's also the type of guy to absolutely be like the kid across the street was. To be not an asshole, but he would like, his opinion of you is independent of, hang on, how am I going to phrase this? Essentially, he will value you for qualities that you have, not qualities that you can have. No, that doesn't work. Essentially, you can't suck up to the guy. If you're a cool guy, he'll be like, yeah, you're cool. If not, sorry. And it's insane to me. It's something that I've always wanted to be able to do, to have others seek my approval. To have others want me to like them. And for me to be able to say, nah man, nah. I mean, I know it sounds mean, but I've never done that. And I mean, I feel like if I was presented with the option to do that, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go, nah. But it just seems like there's probably something really satisfying in doing that. Not in doing that, because it's probably really mean and probably feels like shit. You feel like an asshole afterwards. But there's probably something really satisfying in knowing that you could do that. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say. In summary, I should learn to be myself before becoming others. I should learn to accept my own approval in lieu, how do you say that without sounding French? In lieu of others' approval. And I need to become, I don't need to be more like the guy that I look up to. I need to think more like the guy I look up to. I need to view the world more like him. I don't want to be him. I want to be me as him, if that makes sense. I want to be as me as he is he. Figure that sentence out. I want to be as much myself as he is himself, because he is so much himself, it's insane. I am never myself, except when I'm talking to strangers or people whose opinions I don't value. Like you folks on the internet. Anyways, I think that's it for tonight. How long did I just stream for? Let's see here. Let's take a look-see. How do I... Whatever, I'll figure this out later. Anyway, see you later, YouTube.